Facebook, what up? Instagram, I see you. The Prince is back. I know you haven't had a live feed from me in months, but you know, as the #1 black scholar on earth right now, living legend, King Kong consciousness, international Ifatunde0, most requested, Mr. School Psychology, Mr. Pan-Africanism, Mr. This, Mr. That, I'm in the building. Ohio, stand up, I am here. Columbus, Ohio, can't wait to see you. Saturday, the Prince of Pan-Africanism. We'll be back in Columbus, Ohio. First time in 4 years. I'm looking for y'all. First AME Zion Church, 873 Brighton Road. Doors open up at 2. Power lecture at 4. Book signing at 7. It's been 4 years. I got a lot to talk to Ohio about. A lot to talk to Columbus about. Youngstown, I see you. Cleveland, I see you. Cincinnati, I see you. Toledo, I see you. Dayton, I see you. So we're about to get into it. I just need to mix my tea up. Had to, you know how we do. So brothers and sisters, this is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson, coming back live and direct. We are in Cleveland. Yes, we are. Cleveland, Ohio. I haven't been to Cleveland in about 2 years, but Cleveland, you will see me soon. I will be doing a lecture in Cleveland, probably Black History Month, if not sooner. Sister Francis, some of you here in Ohio know about Sister Francis and her struggle to repair and rebuild the African American Museum in Cleveland. So I'm going to be coming back to help her for free. Let me say that again. For free. Let me say it one more time. For free. I understand how difficult it can be to build a black institution for black people, which is what I'm going to talk about tonight. So Sister Francis, I'm probably going to try to connect with you tomorrow after I visit the schools. I am in Cleveland because there is a school here that may be a potential Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy site. So that's why I'm here. So I'm going to check out a couple schools in Cleveland tomorrow, and then I'm heading up to Columbus for Saturday afternoon's mega power lecture. So what I want to do, brothers and sisters, tonight is I want to talk about something I have not yet done a live feed on. I've discussed it, I've hinted at it, I've articulated certain aspects of it, but what I would like to do over the next 45 to 60 minutes is talk about the struggle to build America's first academy totally dedicated to the principles of revolutionary Pan-African nationalism. Not Hotep cultural nationalism, but revolutionary Pan-African nationalism and international economics. I want to talk about that tonight. Shout out to the brothers and sisters who came out to see the Prince in Trenton. It was good visiting the city where I completed my pre-doctoral internship from the 2008-2009 academic calendar year. So I will be speaking in Columbus on Saturday the 21st. And then I will be in Nashville, Tennessee. Tennessee, stand up. Tennessee, stand up. The Prince of Pan-Africanism will be in Nashville. First visit in 4 years. First visit in 4 years for Columbus. First visit in 4 years for Nashville, Tennessee. So I want to see my Chattanooga family out. That's Friday, November 10th. Friday night, November 10th, I want to see my Chattanooga family out. I want to see my Knoxville family out. I want to see my Memphis family out. And of course, my Nashville family and all places in between. That's Friday, November 10th. The Prince of Pan-Africanism invades Tennessee. And then I will be back in California if you're on the West Coast. If you're on the West Coast, the Prince of Pan-Africanism will be keynoting again, backed by popular demand, second time in 3 years. I will be keynoting the Black Consciousness Conference in Long Beach. You will not find the tickets on my Eventbrite because as I've explained before, if I am not the sponsor of the event, it will not be on my Eventbrite link. I repeat, if I am not the sponsor of the event, it will not be on my Eventbrite link. But if you want to contact Brother Justin and the good young folks up there at Long Beach for the Black Consciousness Conference, shoot me a text message or email and I will send you the flyer. You can also scroll down my Instagram, scroll down my Facebook, scroll down my Twitter. But the Black Consciousness Conference in Long Beach, California will be on Saturday, November the 18th. Saturday, November the 18th, Black Consciousness Conference, Long Beach, California. Second time in 3 years. You cannot replace me. You cannot substitute me. Can't nobody do what I do on the mic. No disrespect to all the other speakers out there, but as Muhammad Ali said, sometimes when you're the best, you just got to say it. Also, a very important date, 11/11. Now, I'm in Nashville Friday, November 10th, but the very next day is 11/11. That's the date that the Honorable Reverend Prophet Nat Turner was lynched by the government of Virginia. So we are going to be honoring not only Nat Turner, but we're going to be honoring all of our African ancestors with Elder Khalifa. Some of you were with me on 8/21, the day that the Nat Turner Revolution began. You were with me on 8/21, the day that the Nat Turner Revolution began. We were down there. We had a great time with that solar eclipse. I'm still vibing off of the Leo solar eclipse. Shout out to all my lions and lionesses out there in the building. So we'll be back in Nat Turner land on Saturday, November 11th to pay tribute to Nat Turner's last day and also all of our fallen ancestors. So come on down. Again, that's not on my Eventbrite because I'm not the host. Elder Khalifa is the host. If you need the phone number or email so you can register, you can text me 215-989-9858, or you can leave a voicemail 8444-DRUMAR. All right? Or you can send an email, drumarjohnson@yahoo.com, DRUMAR Johnson@yahoo.com. And then we have Kwanzaa. The Prince of Pan-Africanism will be in Hotlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, it's been a while. I haven't seen you since New Year's Day was my last lecture in Atlanta. Kwanzaa Day 7, January 1st, 2017. So I will be back in Atlanta Thursday. Atlanta, Georgia, the Prince is back Thursday, December the 28th at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. You know I sell out every time I come to Atlanta. You know I sell out every time I come to Detroit. Do not wait. Tickets are on Eventbrite right now for Atlanta, Thursday, December the 28th. We got a lot to talk about, Georgia. I want to see you up in there. Saturday, December 30th, Shrine of the Black Madonna, Houston, Texas. Houston hasn't seen me since 9/11/2016. Houston hasn't seen me since 9/11/2016. So it'll be a year and a half since I've been back down to the fourth largest black community in America, the community of Houston, Texas. We'll be at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. If you want to be a vendor for Houston, then definitely shoot me an email. Your name, your product list, what you sell. Okay, we got a lot of spots for Houston. We got about 15 vendor spots for Houston. So if you want to vend in Houston, shoot me an email, lock it down. Now, Atlanta, we don't have that many spots in Atlanta, but if you want to vend in Atlanta, then definitely shoot me the email or shoot me the text. Okay, Detroit, we can't have no vendors in Detroit because that's the policy. Detroit, I will be with you on New Year's Day. This will be my first ever New Year's lecture in Detroit, Michigan. This will be my first ever New Year's Day lecture in Detroit, Michigan. We will be at the Northwest Activity Center, in Detroit, Michigan, January the 1st. Get your tickets. You know it's going to sell out. Facts. I need to add one more city to my Kwanzaa itinerary. You know, back in the day, I would do 7 days, 7 cities, right? Now I need a little break between them cities. So I need to do something on the first day of Kwanzaa. We might do Hartford, Connecticut. We might do Jacksonville, Florida. We might do New Orleans, Louisiana. We might do Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We got a couple options. Now, the next National Independent Black Parent Association Leadership Training Conference. The next National Independent Black Parent Association Leadership Training Conference will be held in Miami, Florida. Miami, stand up. We just had a sold out event at the African American Research Library in Broward County, September 30th. Much love to all the brothers and sisters who came out. I loved it, enjoyed taking the pictures, seeing all my beautiful, 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 oh so beautiful black sisters down in South Florida. Okay, and I'll be coming back to South Florida in about 2 weeks to speak to some of our young brothers caught up in the juvenile justice system. I won't be doing any public message, okay, but I will be speaking to the youth. As you all know, Dr. Umar Johnson does not charge. I do not charge a single penny to speak in prisons. I do not charge a single penny to speak at halfway houses. I do not charge a single penny to speak in juvenile homes, group homes, juvenile detention centers. I do not exploit the need to feed the spirits of brothers and sisters who are locked down and incarcerated. So if you work in a juvenile detention center, if you work in a shelter for abused women, a shelter for homeless men, homeless youth, halfway house, whatever type of incarcerated, controlled environment that you work in, if you want me to come and speak using my expertise, I do have credentials. If you want me to come and speak to the brothers or sisters or youth who you work with, send me an email. You will have to cover the round trip flight in the hotel. I do not require first class. I'll probably get an automatic upgrade anyway, since I'm around 1 million miles now. Okay, hotel needs to be halfway decent. Okay, halfway decent, but I don't require a 4 or a 5 star. Okay, I do not prefer to stay in your home, because if you're a female, that could trigger a scandal. And even if you're not a female, you know, Barack Obama changed the game. So I'm not too interested in staying in the homes of brothers now either, because of this whole sexual confusion epidemic that we have. And furthermore, just in my experience, a lot of times when I stay with brothers and sisters in their homes, some of them are so inquisitive about the personal life of the Prince of Pan-Africanism that they can't help but resist going through my personal belongings when I'm not there. So all due respect, I prefer to stay at a hotel, because I don't like coming back seeing someone has rummaged through my underclothing or my personal business documents. So, you know, our people are newsy. We can be newsy. It is the nature of human beings to be newsy. So I'd rather stay at the hotel so that my privacy is not breached. But once again, if you work at a prison, halfway house, juvenile detention center, abused sister center, whatever the case may be, call on me. I do not charge. Okay, that's how we rolling on that piece. All right. So get your tickets, Columbus, princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com. If anybody needs the flyer, text me, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. The last time I had a chance to speak to sisters in a shelter, I spoke to a group of homeless and abused women in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It was either Muskegon or Grand Rapids, Michigan. And it was beautiful. I think I spent one day, maybe two, but it was beautiful. I talked to the sisters, abuse, relationships, raising children, taking care of yourself mentally. It was beautiful. That was about 5 years ago, and that was in either Grand Rapids or Muskegon. It was beautiful. I do want to do some more of those type of seminars. So for those of you who work with special populations in our community, definitely call on the Prince of Pan-Africanism. If you would like to interview me, you need to contact my secretary, and you can reach her at Dr. Umar Secretary at Yahoo, DRUMAR Secretary. If you want to invite me to speak, then you have to contact my executive assistant, and you can email her at drumarspeaks@yahoo.com. DRUMARSPEAKS, Dr. Umar Speaks at yahoo.com. I'm already getting requests for Black History Month. So for all my colleges out there, get your requests in early. Stop waiting till January. I fill up quick. You're talking to the most requested on the planet with 0 time on the Oprah Winfrey couch. Okay? Put your request in now. So let's talk about FDMG, brothers and sisters. Let's talk about the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Where did this come from? How did it all begin? What led to probably one of the greatest episodes of embarrassing hate that could be directed towards a particular Black organizer since the days that W.E.B. Du Bois and A. Philip Randolph tried to destroy the greatest Black movement in modern history, led by His Excellency, the Provisional Prophet and King of Pan-Africanism, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to give it to you straight. So, as you all know, I am a certified school principal. Not Hotep, certified, credential, documents. When I resigned from the School District of Philadelphia to become a school administrator, in my capacity as a school administrator, this is back around 2005, so we're talking about 11 years ago now, it had occurred to me in working with our children, primarily K-8, it occurred to me that I could be much more effective and that I could be of much greater use to our community as an administrator than I could ever be as a child psychotherapist. As you know, a full-time therapist working 40 hours a week can only see 40 clients a week. Okay, a clinical hour is about 45 minutes because you use the final 15 minutes to write up your clinical note. So even if I work a little overtime, let's say I put in 60 hours a week as a child psychotherapist, helping them work through their low self-esteem, their depression, fatherlessness, motherlessness, sex abuse, social anxiety, you name it. Even if I work 60 or 70 or 80 hours a week, let's just say I burn myself out completely and I work 80 hours a week. Well, guess what? That's only 80 students I'm seeing a week. Whereas, as an administrator of a school, you can impact the life of 300, 500, 700, 1,000 students every day, or even if you don't get to interact with every child every day, you're looking at impacting thousands every month. Every month. So let's compare this now. A child psychotherapist, which I've been for 20 years almost, impacting 80 children a week, maybe 360 a month, compared to being a school administrator where I can impact the lives of 700, 800, 900, 1,000 every week. Add to that the fact that in order for me to impact the life of a child as a psychotherapist, I have to wait until someone refers that child to me for therapy or counseling. I have to wait until someone refers that child to me for therapy or counseling. So there's children who may need to feel the energy of Dr. Papa, who may not get an opportunity to feel the energy of Dr. Papa because their teacher or their parent don't think it's important enough to have them sit down with me for a clinical hour for some school psychological counseling. Whereas school is mandatory. Public school is mandatory in the United States of America. So you don't have to wait for a referral to work with our young people if you are a principal, but you do have to wait for a referral to work with our young people if you are a school psychologist. So it should be a no-brainer for you all to conceptualize, to understand, understand, and overstand why Dr. Umar Johnson made the obvious leap from being a therapist to being a school principal. A principal can prevent problems. A therapist comes in after to reverse problems. A principal is proactive, whereas the therapist is reactionary. So in 2005, I decided. I had contemplated it before 2005, but in 2005, I had contemplated that it was time for me to begin the process of building America's first true revolutionary Pan-African nationalist institution based on the principles of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey in international economics. I enrolled in Lehigh University, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, earned my master's degree in educational leadership, earned my principal certificate. Since then, I had the opportunity to be administrator in certain places, which I resigned from because I wasn't allowed to impact the charter school system the way I wanted to. See, a lot of times people who start charter schools bring in strong black men to manage the student population, but they don't want us to use our intelligence to manage the delivery of instructional content. They want to use us as a police officer in the school building. And many of you out there who are black male principals, you know that oftentimes they assign us to schools based on our masculinity as opposed to our intelligence. In other words, they want you to Joe Clark the situation. We want to bring you in and be a disciplinarian, but as Joe Clark did, shout out to Paterson, New Jersey. I will see you in March at the Fred Jordan Annual Memorial Scholarship Dinner. Shout out to Paterson. East Side High School, stand up. I'm still rocking with y'all. See you in March. But Joe Clark said, listen, I'm going to discipline, but I'm also going to educate. Joe Clark said, I'm going to discipline, but I'm also going to educate. And so Dr. Umar Johnson, getting sick and tired of being asked to evaluate children who don't have anything wrong with them, I said, I'm going to open up a school. So I continue to do what I'm doing, raising the consciousness of our people, helping our parents save their children from suspensions, expulsions, a life of special ed, misdiagnosis, ADHD, alternative schools. I've been blessed to have helped thousands of children without a school. So if I can do what I do with the grace of God without a school, imagine if I have a school. And so I conceived of this a long time ago. But then 3 years ago, in 2014, this whole school initiative, was jump started, and thrown into full throttle in gear when my brother Dante out of Virginia, shout out to the 7 cities of Virginia and the brothers and sisters down there who still support Dr. Umar Johnson. Some of them have become traitors. Unfortunately, some of the sisters I learned have become detractors of my work. So sad. who used to sit inside of my meeting of the minds there at the Tidewater Elementary School. They become detractors, you know, but hey, that's how it goes. But anyhow, Brother Dante called me up one day and he said, yo, there's a HBCU for sale in Lawrenceville, Virginia, and they only want $2 million. This is the spring of 2014. This is the etiology of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy fundraising campaign. Okay? So he calls me up on the phone, bro, there's a school for sale, $2 million, historically black college. So I jump on the internet. I look up the school. It's the St. Paul's College, founded by Father Russell, who was a close friend of the late great sage of Tuskegee, the Honorable Dr. Booker T. Washington. Okay, and he was also a good friend with the late great master scientist, supreme scientist, Dr. George Washington Carver, who actually visited St. Paul's College on more than one occasion, from what I understand. So being a fan of Booker T, who inspired the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey to give us the largest black organization in modern history, being a big fan of the late great Dr. George Washington Carver, who was probably the greatest scientist in the world, okay, during the 20th century, okay, I couldn't help but say, let me look into this. So I got on the telephone. I called up the college. There was a black man who was appointed president of the college. He wasn't much help to me at all. He didn't really care about what I was trying to do, as most bourgeois don't. But anyhow, he directed me to the realty company that was handling the purchase of the St. Paul's College. So I contacted them, white folks, and I said, hey, I'm interested in this school. They said, do you have any money? I said, no, I don't. I haven't done any fundraising, but I know I need this college. I don't want to see another black college go under. As you all know, all across the country, they are attacking historically black colleges, running them out of business, and having them colonized by the larger white state and private institutions in the area where they are. It's no small secret, okay, that they want to give Cheney University, our oldest state HBCU in America, they want to give that to Temple University or the University of Pennsylvania. It's no secret that they want to give South Carolina State to the University of South Carolina. It's no secret that they want to give the HBCUs in North Carolina to Duke and UNC and NC State. It's no secret that they want to give Central State right here in Ohio, Wilberforce, right here in Ohio. It's no secret that they want to turn that over to Ohio State and University of Ohio. We have to fight to keep these black schools black, okay? LeBron James, what are you doing for Central State University? LeBron James, what are you doing for Wilberforce University? I commend you, my brother. You putting a lot of black kids through college. But are you stipulating that they must go to HBCUs, my brother? Please don't let your advisors misdirect you, brother LeBron James. If you're going to pay for children to go to college, you must require that they go to HBCUs. That $20 million, $40 million, $60 million that you're spending to send our children to college, you should be requiring that they go to Wilberforce, Central State, and other HBCUs around the region, my brother. That's how you give back, okay? Furthermore, I would argue that you might want to take some of that money, brother, okay? Because I like what you're doing. I like your whole movement. You understand me? Take some of that money, take it out the college fund, and use it and give out small business development grants to these black children. Give out small business development grants. That's what our children need. They need business startup grants, LeBron. They don't need a bachelor's degree. They need a business startup grant. They keep telling us we're sending more black kids to college than ever before. I don't care about you sending more black children to college, because all that equals is more black people being in debt because they're not going on full scholarship. Many of them have to cover 100% of the tuition, 50% of the tuition, even 25% of the tuition can be too much for a brother or sister coming from a working class family, coming from a single parent family, 87% of our children being raised by the mothers. So LeBron James and Oprah Winfrey, stop paying for college and start paying for businesses. Stop paying for college and start paying for businesses. Don't send them to college. Okay? Open up a Starbucks and give it to them. Don't send them to college. Open up a Walmart and give it to them. Don't send them to college. Open up a dry cleaners and give it to them. Don't send them to college. Open up a supermarket and give it to them. Don't send them to college. Open up a used car lot and give it to them. Don't send them to college. Open up a cleaning business with all the equipment and all the transportation equipment and give it to them. That's what we need y'all to do. Give out businesses and business grants. Stop this college stuff. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. Some of our children need to go to the university. If they score high enough, look at their scores, look at their grades. If they are academically inclined, pay for them to go to college to be a lawyer. Pay for them to go to college to be a doctor. Pay for them to go to college to be an engineer. Pay for them to go to college to be an educator, a psychologist, an astronaut. Pay for them to go to college to be a judge. Okay? But for those children who are not necessarily interested in college, and let's be honest, at least half of our children are not interested in 4 more years of white supremacy instructional pedagogy. Let's be honest. Many of our children are not interested in 4 more years of sitting in front of white folk who do not care about them. Facts. Facts. Okay? So that's what I need you to do, my brother. All right? So, I tell them I don't have no money. When I call them, Mr. Dudley, the representative at Motley's, told me that we have an auction next Wednesday, I think it was. The auction was 7 days after my initial phone call. I don't have no money to buy that school. So he said, give us an offer, and if we don't get a purchaser, we may be able to work something out for you, Dr. Umar Johnson. So, I say, no problem. But he also says that in order to place your bid, you have to have a certain amount of money to go down. And that I needed an attorney to write up my offer. So, I was scheduled to speak in St. Louis, Missouri. Shout out to St. Louis, Missouri. Rest in peace to Michael Brown. Rest in peace to the other brother who was recently murdered by the Nazi police of St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, stand up. So, I'm in St. Louis around this time. I'm scheduled for St. Louis by coincidence. And for the first time in my life, because I never liked asking our people for anything, we've had too many hustlers and con artists that have come before us. Many of you have tried to put money in my hands for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy for the past 10 years, and I refused it. Okay? Okay, some of you have testified to this. We've tried to give him money. He refused it because he said until he had an identifiable school and until he had a bank account for the school, Dr. Umar Johnson refused to take any funds for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. So in St. Louis, for the first time in my history, I took up a public collection. And may God bless St. Louis, we raised about $600 that night off the collection. I used that $600 to pay a black attorney, Attorney Codrington out of New York, a business attorney, to write up my proposal to pay for the St. Paul's College. I believe we put in a bid of about $1 million if memory serves me correctly. St. Paul's College called me about a week later, the realty company, Motley's, and they said the school hasn't been sold. How serious are you about buying St. Paul's College? I said, I am very serious about purchasing a St. Paul's College. I want to open a school for black boys. I'm a former school principal. I'm a former school assistant principal. I'm a school psychologist, nearly 20 years. This is a dream of mine. I need that school. Can y'all give me a payment plan? If y'all can give me a payment plan, I am certain that the black community will get behind me so we can pay off this college. They said, we can't do no payment plans. It's an auction. Why don't you come on down? Let's talk about it. So I drove the 5 hours down to Southern Virginia, okay, which is only 90 miles from the North Carolina border. We sat down, we went to lunch, okay, and I am thankful because the president of the school and the auction company gave me permission to do a video. And that's the video that's still on YouTube now. Okay, that powerful video about what we wanted to do with the St. Paul's College. Shout out to my brother Malik, who came up on a second's notice, drove up from Greensboro to do that video for me at the last minute. That brother came up at the last. We did that video for St. Paul's College at the spur of the moment. If y'all remember, right after that, I started asking you guys to send in your donations, right? I opened up a school account, Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Any of you who have ever donated, okay, have received your canceled check, and on the back it says Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. The money does not go into my account. It goes into a Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy account, which we established in the spring of 2014 for the specific purpose of raising funds for the FDMG RBG International Leadership Academy for unapologetically African alpha males in Pan-African excellence. So then, we would start raising the money. If y'all remember, I started with a PayPal. Okay, we got about 103,000 sitting in the PayPal right now. Okay, it's there. Okay, but then PayPal cut off that fundraiser because certain agents in the black community, coons, y'all know who they are, contacted PayPal and said I was participating in a scam to have people give me money for a school that does not exist. So PayPal cut the fundraiser at that time. But they did tell me that once I provided them with the incorporation paperwork, I would be able to access the funds. No problem here. Okay? So then folks begin to send in the checks along with the PayPal, right? So when the PayPal cut, we continue to do the checks. We still have the money in PayPal. It's there. No issues. Okay? So then you guys were sending in the checks. Some of you asked me to do a online crowdfunding campaign. And some of you who have been with me from the beginning, you remember that I said what? I said, I don't want to do a crowdfunding campaign. Kickstarter, what's the one that I have? GoFundMe, Indigo. I didn't want to do it. Why didn't I want to do it? Because they take too much money out. They take too much money out. When you look on my GoFundMe right now, let me look at it right now. Let's see where we at right now. I'm going to show y'all something. Those crowdfunding campaign sites are scams. They are ripoffs. Okay, let me go to GoFundMe right now. I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. GoFundMe.com/DRUMAR. Okay, right now it says we have 390,000. Right now, 390,000 in donations right now, right? But what they're not telling you, and you can research this to make sure, okay, because memory doesn't always serve me correctly, but GoFundMe charges about 4-5% of everything.